Hey there. Ever found yourself wondering if that girl you're talking to is into you without her actually saying it? Imagine if you could crack the code and understand exactly what she's thinking just by watching her body language. Well, you're in the right place because today I'm revealing 5 secret signs that she likes you without her saying a word. Stick around because once you master these, you'll know whether she's interested long before she even says a thing. Let's get into it, the subtle art of reading her body language. Let's start by diving deeper into the very first sign, posture. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can something as simple as the way she sits or stands tell me whether or not she's into me? But here's the deal. Posture is like a secret code. It's the unsung hero of body language, one that can reveal a lot more than you might expect. And once you understand it, you'll start to notice it everywhere. Imagine this, you're sitting at a cafe with her, maybe on a casual date, or just catching up. You're talking about something you're passionate about, and you suddenly notice that she's leaning in, just a little. It might seem subtle, but this small action is powerful. When a woman is leaning in toward you, it's as if her body is saying, "I'm interested in what you're saying, and I want to be closer to you." It's like there's this invisible magnetic pull. Her body is physically drawn to yours because she's engaged, attracted, and curious. But here's the key. Don't just look for this once and assume she's interested. You're looking for consistency. Is she leaning in throughout the conversation, or is it just a momentary thing? If you notice that she's consistently orienting her body towards you, even when she's talking about something else or listening to you, it's a solid sign that she likes you. Now, what if she's pulling away or her posture is closed off? Maybe her arms are crossed, or she's turning her body away from you. While it's important not to jump to conclusions, this could be a sign that she's not as engaged. Maybe she's feeling uncomfortable or distracted. But posture alone isn't enough to determine interest. You'll need to observe other signs to get the full picture. And here's something that most people miss. Posture isn't just something you observe in her. It's something you can use to your advantage. When you notice her leaning in, mirror that action. Lean in just a bit, subtly, and see how she responds. It's a dance, a give and take. You're building rapport through body language without saying a single word. But, and this is important, don't overdo it. Respect her personal space. Attraction builds through comfort, so be sure to match her level of engagement, not overwhelm her with too much too soon. Speaking of matching energy, this brings us to another critical point, her attention span. Understanding her attention and engagement attention. It's something we all crave, especially in a world filled with distractions. In the digital age, where notifications, social media, and a constant stream of information compete for everyone's attention, knowing if a woman is genuinely interested in you often comes down to how much of her focus she's willing to give. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting together, sharing stories, maybe cracking a few jokes. You look at her, and she's completely absorbed in the moment. Her eyes are on you, not wandering around the room, not glued to her phone. She's laughing at your jokes, even the bad ones, and actively engaging in the conversation. When you speak, she listens, nodding along, maybe even asking follow-up questions. It's as if, in that moment, nothing else in the world matters except the two of you. This level of engagement is a major sign of interest. When a woman is into you, she'll be fully present. She won't be mentally checking out or thinking about what she's going to do tomorrow. Instead, she'll be invested in what's happening right now. And here's the key. She'll show this through both her words and her body language. But how do you really know if she's paying attention? Here's a trick. Watch her eyes. Eye contact is one of the most powerful nonverbal cues there is. If she's maintaining eye contact, that's a sign she's engaged. And if her eyes are flicking between your eyes and your lips, that's an even stronger sign that she's attracted to you. The occasional glance at your lips signals that she's thinking about you in a more intimate way. But let's take it one step further. If she's playing with her hair while she's fully engaged with you, that's a double whammy of attraction. Which brings us to the next point. The power of hair play. Now, let's talk about one of the most classic and easily recognizable signs that she's into you, hair play. This is a timeless signal of attraction. one that has been around for centuries. But it's not just a simple flirtatious gesture. It's much deeper than that, rooted in both biology and psychology. When a woman is attracted to someone, she might start to play with her hair, twirling a strand around her finger, running her fingers through it, or casually tossing it over her shoulder. Why? Well, one reason is that it draws attention to her face and neck, two areas that are highly symbolic of femininity and beauty. By playing with her hair, she's subconsciously trying to get you to notice her features, to keep your eyes on her. But it's more than just trying to get your attention. Hair play is also a self-soothing gesture, a way for her to calm herself down in a moment of nervousness or excitement. Think about it. When you're around someone you're attracted to, your heart rate goes up. You might feel a little nervous, maybe even a little vulnerable. For her, playing with her hair is a way to channel that energy. It's a sign that she's not only comfortable around you, but that she's also feeling those butterflies, the kind you feel when you're drawn to someone. Of course, not every instance of hair play is a sign of attraction. Some women play with their hair out of habit or boredom. So, how do you know if it's a sign she's into you? Again, it's all about context and consistency. If she's playing with her hair while making eye contact, leaning in, or laughing at your jokes, then you've got a clear signal. But if she's doing it while looking away or seems distracted, it might just be a habit. A simple compliment can go a long way here. If you notice her playing with her hair, saying something like, "You have really beautiful hair," can be a great way to acknowledge it without being too forward. Just don't overdo it. Complimenting her once is enough. The goal here is to build a connection, not come off as overly focused on her appearance. But hair play isn't the only way she's going to show interest. Let's talk about one of the most obvious, yet often misunderstood signs: eye contact. The secret behind her eyes. They say the eyes are the window to the soul. And when it comes to attraction, that couldn't be truer. Eye contact is one of the most intimate forms of nonverbal communication, and when a woman is attracted to you, her eyes will do most of the talking. Imagine this. You're deep in conversation, and you notice that she's holding your gaze a little longer than usual. It's not just a casual glance. She's locking eyes with you, and there's a certain intensity in the way she's looking at you. This is a strong indicator that she's interested. Eye contact shows engagement, curiosity, and connection. But it's not just about how long she holds your gaze, it's also about how she looks at you. If she's looking at you with a smile, her eyes soft and relaxed, it's a sign that she feels comfortable and attracted. If she glances down at your lips or looks away and then quickly looks back at you, that's a sign of flirtation. It's her way of showing interest without saying anything. One thing to keep in mind, though, not all women are comfortable with intense eye contact, especially if they're shy or nervous. If she's attracted to you but feeling a little self-conscious, she might look away more often, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's not interested. Pay attention to the pattern. If she looks away and then looks back at you, smiling or blushing, it's a clear sign that she's into you, but might just be feeling a little shy. Now, once you've established strong eye contact, the next step is physical touch, which is where things get really interesting. The magic of touch. Touch is one of the most powerful ways to communicate attraction, and when done right, it can create an instant connection. When a woman is attracted to you, she'll often find subtle ways to initiate physical contact. This might start as something small. Maybe she brushes her hand against yours as you're walking together, or she touches your arm while making a point in the conversation. These little touches might seem insignificant, but they're actually a huge deal. They're her way of testing the waters, seeing how you respond, and building a physical connection. The subtle power of touch. So let's talk more about touch, because it's one of the clearest signs she's into you. When a woman starts initiating physical contact, even in the smallest ways, she's essentially telling you, "I feel comfortable around you, and I'm interested in you." Think of it as her way of breaking down the barriers between you two. Now let me give you a scenario. You're out for a walk together, side by side. You make a joke and she laughs, but then she lightly touches your arm while doing so. That's not just her being playful, it's her way of connecting with you physically. It might seem like nothing, but that little touch is a big deal. When she's comfortable enough to initiate that kind of contact, it's her way of showing attraction in a subtle yet powerful way. Another common move? Playful touches. Maybe she gently pokes you in the ribs or brushes a piece of lint off your shirt. These might seem innocent, but they're not. They're small gestures that allow her to create a physical bond, one that deepens your connection without things feeling too intense or forced. But here's something important. Not everyone is comfortable with touch right away. Some women might be more reserved, and that's okay. What you're looking for is consistency. If she's touching you more frequently as the conversation progresses, especially in lighthearted moments, it's a good indicator that she's feeling more comfortable with you, and that her attraction is growing. Reciprocating touch is crucial here. If she touches your arm, don't just stand there frozen like a statue. Respond with a light touch of your own, maybe on her hand, her shoulder, or her back, depending on the situation. You're not just matching her energy, you're reinforcing that physical connection. Just be sure to respect her boundaries. If she pulls away or seems uncomfortable, back off a bit. Attraction should always feel natural, never forced. Now, the physical touch is important, but there's something else that often flies under the radar: mirroring. This leads us to our next major point, the science of mirroring. Mirroring is one of the most fascinating signs of attraction, and it's something that happens almost completely subconsciously. When two people are in sync, whether it's in conversation, energy, or attraction, they often begin to mimic each other's movements without even realizing it. This is called mirroring, and it's a powerful sign that she's into you. So, what does this look like in real life? Picture this. You're sitting across from her at dinner. You cross your arms, and a few moments later, she does the same. You take a sip of your drink, and a little while later, she picks up her glass and takes a sip too. These small, seemingly insignificant actions are actually her way of syncing up with you. It's as if her body is saying, "I feel connected to you. I'm on the same wavelength." But mirroring doesn't just happen with movements. It happens with energy too. If you're excited and animated in your conversation, and she starts matching your level of enthusiasm, that's mirroring. She's aligning herself with you emotionally and physically, which is a clear indicator that she's feeling the connection just as much as you are. Now, here's a pro tip. You can use mirroring to your advantage. If you notice that she's mirroring your actions, you've got a great opportunity to take the connection even deeper. Start by subtly mirroring her movements back. If she leans in, lean in just a bit. If she takes a sip of her drink, follow suit a few moments later. This creates a rhythm between you two, almost like a dance. You're both feeding off each other's energy, and it strengthens the bond. One thing to keep in mind, don't overdo it. You want to keep it natural. If you're too obvious about mirroring her, it can come off as forced or even a bit creepy. The key here is subtlety. You're matching her movements to create a sense of connection, not mimicking her every move like a shadow. And just like with touch, the timing of your mirroring is crucial. Mirroring early in the conversation can build rapport, but as the attraction grows, it becomes a way to deepen the intimacy between you two. So next time you're with a woman and you notice her mirroring your movements, take it as a strong sign that she's feeling that connection. Speaking of timing, let's move on to the next critical sign, reaction time. Reaction time. Speed and enthusiasm matter. Reaction time is something that many people overlook, but it's a powerful indicator of attraction. When a woman is interested in you, she'll respond quickly and with enthusiasm to your jokes, comments, and stories. She'll be engaged, hanging on to your every word, laughing at your jokes, and eager to contribute to the conversation. Now think about the last time you were talking to someone and they gave you slow, half-hearted responses. Maybe they took forever to reply to your texts, or when you said something, they just kind of nodded and moved on without much excitement. That's a pretty clear sign that they weren't fully invested, right? The same thing applies here. When a woman is into you, her reaction time speeds up. She's excited to talk to you, and it shows in how quickly and energetically she responds. Here's a real-life example. You're telling her a funny story, and before you even finish, she's already laughing. Her reactions are immediate because she's so engaged in what you're saying. Or maybe you ask her a question and she responds right away without hesitation. This quick reaction time shows that she's not only paying attention, but that she's fully invested in the conversation. But it's not just about speed, it's also about enthusiasm. If she's responding quickly but with half-hearted one-word answers, that's not exactly a sign of attraction. You're looking for a combination of both speed and excitement. Is she smiling? Laughing? Is she asking follow-up questions or contributing her own thoughts to the conversation? These are all signs that she's into you and wants to keep the connection going. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Reaction time isn't just about gauging her interest, it's also about setting the tone of your interactions. If you want to build momentum in the conversation, you need to match her energy and enthusiasm. Respond to her with the same level of excitement. Don't play it too cool or aloof by waiting forever to reply to her texts or comments. Attraction is a two-way street, and if you're just as invested as she is, that's going to build even more excitement between you two. But what if her reactions start to slow down? What if she seems distracted or disengaged? This could be a sign that she's losing interest, but don't panic. Sometimes people will get distracted for reasons that have nothing to do with you. If you notice her attention starting to wander, gently bring her back into the conversation. Ask her a question, crack a joke, or share a particularly juicy story. Show her that you're fully present and that you value her presence too. But perhaps the most exciting part of attraction comes from that initial physical connection. And no discussion of attraction would be complete without diving deeper into how touch plays a role in sparking chemistry. Building chemistry through physical touch. As we've discussed, touch is one of the most intimate and powerful ways to communicate attraction. But let's really dive into how you can use touch to not only gauge her interest, but also build that chemistry between you two. When a woman is attracted to you, she'll often find small ways to initiate touch. But this isn't about grand gestures. It's about the subtle, almost imperceptible touches that happen naturally during a conversation. For example, she might brush her hand against yours as you're walking, or gently place her hand on your arm when she's making a point. These small touches may seem insignificant, but they carry a lot of weight. Touch is all about building comfort and trust. When she touches you, even in small ways, she's telling you that she feels comfortable enough to break the physical barrier between you two. And when you reciprocate, you're reinforcing that connection. You're creating a sense of intimacy without saying a word. But there's a fine line between creating chemistry through touch and coming on too strong. You want to make sure that any touch you initiate is natural and welcome. The goal is to create a connection, not to make her uncomfortable. If she seems hesitant or pulls away, it's important to respect that and give her space. One of the best ways to initiate touch without being too forward is through playful touches. Maybe you're teasing her about something and you lightly nudge her arm. Or maybe you're sitting next to each other and you let your knees or shoulders brush lightly. These touches are playful and light, but they help build that physical connection. The most important thing to remember when it comes to touch is that it's a dance. You're both feeling each other out, testing the waters to see how comfortable and connected you feel. As the attraction builds, so will the touches. They'll become more frequent, more intentional, and more intimate. And with that, we've now built a strong foundation of attraction through body language. But there's one final element that often goes overlooked: the way she mirrors you, not just physically, but emotionally. So there you have it, the secret language of attraction decoded. From her subtle body language, like posture and leaning in, to playful touches, eye contact, and mirroring, these are the 5 key signs that she likes you without saying a word. But remember, the key to attraction is all about timing, subtlety, and patience. These signs won't all happen at once, and they may not always be obvious. You have to be observant, patient, and willing to build the connection step by step. The more you pay attention to her body language, the easier it will become to understand what she's really saying, even without words. Now it's your turn. Take what you've learned today and start looking for these signs in your interactions. The next time you're talking to that special girl, pay attention to her posture, her eye contact, her touch, and how she responds to you. If you notice these signs, it's a strong indicator that she's into you. And if you want even more tailored advice to take your dating game to the next level, be sure to check out the free strategy call we're offering in the pinned comment below. Our experts will give you personalized advice that's guaranteed to help you succeed in your dating life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more tips on decoding attraction and building strong connections. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.